Okay, so welcome back to the Maple Leaf Steel roofs. Just it doesn't look like it, but I just cleaned down the vent. There's some spray on here and all the gel, but I got rid of all the loose splatter from the welder, all the bits of metal and the dust is off. And so in this pot we are going to clean up the roofs that we welded up. So these ones up here, clean them down, spray them. So I'll show you what we do. We go cleaning. So we've got to take all that zinc oxide there off. We take all the splatter off, any bits that are left. Check them all, go through and patch up anything that's not right. And if there's any sharp edges or anything, just nip them back and clean them up with a grinder. And then we spray them. So at the moment I'm spraying them with this galvanizing spray. So basically it adds zinc back on, and the zinc oxidizes before the steel, and it protects them from rust. So we clean out the inside welds as well, the reverses, clean them out, spray them as well. Unfortunately, this particular spray, which I got lots of, is a bit dull. It's not very shiny, but for Quint's Honey Farm, which is where these ones are going, it doesn't matter. Its functionality. I've got a few sprays. It's normally whatever I can get a hold of that does the job. This one's a little bit brighter, still a little darker than the actual bright steel. And this zinc spray, galvanizing spray, the no nonsense stuff from Screwfix, comes out nice and bright and blends in perfectly. Which is generally what I try and use. Just at the time trying to get hold of it, this was the only one I could get hold of in any quantity. So that's why we use that. But the spray, what it does is it protects all the bare metal, the welded metal, and the edges and anywhere we've burnt off the zinc. The white is the zinc oxide, that's oxidised as we've welded it. So we've lost that zinc protection, so that's all we're adding with the spray. Most of the reason a lot of these are sort of duller, the zinc sprays, is simply because they're used to undercoat things. So you can paint on top. So you'd spray it on all your bare welds and that, and then you'd normally paint over if you're looking for different colours. But again, Quint's quite happy just having roofs. They don't want them painted any particular colour. I mean, that would certainly be possible to do. So you know, that's what we're going for. So I'll get on, I'll clean these up, get them sprayed, and then we've got to get the insulation cut. So we're using Celotex insulation, which has a very high thermal resistivity, or a very low thermal conductance, which is, they measure it both ways just to make life interesting. And what that means is when we put it in the tops here, the heat is not lost very quickly. So it's just basically the same sort of stuff that you have in your house. It's a lot more dense than polystyrene, so it's a lot more effective than polystyrene, so we can get away with thinner quantities. So this will be 15mm, and on the nationals I generally use 25mm, but you could on a national, if you put in, I think it's a 70mm lip, so you could put 50mm insulation in, 50mm Celotex, and that would be quite a considerable insulatory value. So we'll get that cut as well in this video. We cut that on a saw bench in my dad's workshop. I've got to borrow his workshop for a bit so I can cut all of those, and then we stick them in to these roofs. But I'll get on and start cleaning them up. So we wire brush them, just a wire brush like that in the drill. So I'm just using this one here to clean off the bench, so I'll switch them over and I will get to work. Okay then, so now we've got all these corners cleaned up and painted, so you can see what I mean by the fact that the paint is a bit dull. So these are just done here, these ones, but it doesn't quite, you can see it doesn't quite blend in with the galvanised steel, whereas that no nonsense stuff from Screwfix is a really good match. But like I say, it doesn't really matter. Some of this will come off because it really is only to protect the bare metal. But so we've got the boards to cut, the insulation boards to cut, so we'll go and do that. We're cutting them out of 8x4 sheets of Celotex, 15mm thick. And then we will come back and we will start getting the insulation into the roofs. And then we can get the roofs out on a pallet ready to go. So let's go cut those boards then. Right, so we have got the Celotex cut, so we've got quite a lot of it, and there's a few more bits further over, and then we've got the offcuts, and that I'll probably find something useful to do with the offcuts. They could be pieced together to insulate other roofs. So all we've got to do now is start putting them into the roofs. So I will get all my bits together, and we'll probably do it over on the welding bench, which I've just cleaned. Ooh, so it's nice and shiny, all cleaned down. ready to go. It's just a nicer working height, so I can just pick the roofs up, bring over here, stick them on here, get the insulation in, put it on one side. So all I need is I've got in one of my pockets, no, it's over here, so I just use a high tool to lever it in. Reach over here, I'll clean up the mess of a bench, and then just this here, which is Mega Stick. You can use things like Insta Stick, but it's a PU bonding glue, and I find the foamy versions stick better to the steels than the bottles of PU glue. So we use that, run it out the gun. I've given this gun a clean through. There seems to be a bit of a leak coming in around here, so when I empty this can in the gun, then I'll probably have to clean it through again. I just use paint thinner to clean it through. Doesn't really work once it's set, but it will work before that it goes off. You need to give these a real good shake, get them mixed, and then they're really good, really useful. The guns are well worth it, to be honest, much better than the plastic disposable things that come with them. So I'll get all my bits, get the camera set up and film some of this, and then hopefully we'll get all the rest of these roofs done out and ready to be picked up later on this week. And all that's got to really do is hold that insulation sheet in place. Alright, bit of sheet, we'll just clean up the corners where it's gone through the saw. So Celotex is a close cell foam with I think it's aluminium foil bonded to each side. So it's got high insulation properties. Now we're going to push that in tight to that side, and we'll just use a high tool just to pull out the other side of the roof, and which is it. Alright, so I was having a bit of difficulty with the gun. It wasn't closing properly, so when I finished up yesterday, I stripped the whole gun down, cleaned it all through with thinners, paint thinner. So now you can see the trigger is properly returning, it's back to the stop position. So now when we use it, I shouldn't have to keep shutting the valve down to get that to stop. And all there was a bit of muck around the pin that moved backwards and forwards, and in the ball valve is right in there, that is what stops it from the foam flowing back out when you change. There was this little ring of set PU glue that had gone quite solid in there, and that was all that was stopping it from shutting properly, and that was allowing gas to leak through as well, which meant that the cans were discharging the gas before they discharged the PU. A little bit crud down in around here, so now all works properly, slides backwards and forwards properly, so we'll carry on, get some more roofs done. Okay, so this is the first 100 roofs to go out. Someone from Quint Honey Farm is going to pick them up a bit later, and they'll just take them in a few batches. So they're all welded up. They got gal spray all down the all across the welds, so that will protect the welds from rusting. I should be able to see that. Same on the inside, so on the inside of the welds, and then you've got a sheet of Celotex in there, which will provide insulation. So these ones are 15mm Celotex, but that's still pretty good insulation. Nice thing is it takes the rattle out of the roofs as well, and they'll work really well. So hopefully might be able to go out and see them after they're on and see how well they're doing. But I'll have to crack on with the rest. So there's 150 more to come out. So ideal. If you got this far watching, well done. It's quite a bit of work really, but the result is worth it. I mean, these are, I do find that the steel roofs, so without the wooden bit inside, I mean, some people worry that that's a bit sharp, but it's not. 9 times out of 10 you're wearing gloves anyway, but also they're very strong. It's a thicker grade of metal, so it's a 0.9 mil steel, so compared to like the ones on the wooden surrounds, which is normally 0.5, it's a lot stronger. The welding up, so the corners and that help it hold its shape, so it's very rigid and you get very little flex in it, and actually even with the insulation in there it comes out cheaper than a lot of the ones with the wooden surround, so they're quite cost effective as well. They're not the prettiest, but you know, when you've got 100, when you've got another, so 250 to buy plus more, actually it might be a little saving, but it really does help. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to catch up. Might be able to film them getting loaded up each time they come.